Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the section on 16/11/2022. So let's quickly get into the newspaper. Government urged to set up its own app for auto services. As you're all aware, Ola, Uber and all are working, but there is lot of problem with respect to payments that they are shown. Initially, these companies tried to impress the people by giving at a low cost. Now it is having huge cost. Neither the person who is traveling is benefited nor the auto driver is benefited. So they are telling that government itself should open an app. Guys, but just remember government duty is not to open an app, but the government duty is to make certain policies. Government should tell this is the time, during this time this should be the money. What is the maximum money that you put and what is the minimum? Beyond that, they should not increase the prices. If at all they increase the prices beyond that, then they must be punished. So that is a better way rather than government stepping in. See guys, India today is a capitalist economy where government's role is minimum. Government should not interfere and try to create again something similar to BSNL, MTNL and all. Again where government problems will be more. India's exports shrink and imports rise. See guys, exports and imports they will give every month, and in this month they are telling that exports have decreased whereas imports has increased. And today the gap between exports and imports is approximately $25 billion is what they are trying to tell. So this is a biggest issue that we have, and this makes us to move towards rupee being used for imports and exports rather than allowing dollars. Because today India is not in a very good position, or the world is not in a very good position. Demand for world products are or Indian products is less because of Ukraine war and all. But then we may think, why are we importing? We import lot of raw materials, guys, and these raw materials are important. For example, oil and natural gas, right? All these are important, and that every country whichever is importing oil and natural gas will have deficit for sure. On the other hand, China normally try to sell byproducts, or what we call inputs. So when inputs are sold to you, normally it would lead to some sort of benefits, because let me say, China wants to sell chemicals to India, and that chemicals are used in pharmaceutical industries. Now if our pharmaceutical industries has to run, then that chemical is very very important. So China supplies the basic needs for other industries. That is the reason China still has that record. PM Modi meets Xi Xi Jinping and Biden in Bali. Talks with 8 leaders today. See, guys, they just met, said hi, and came back. They are not making any agreements. Because of that, it's not important. Fine. But you should know that the summit happened in Bali, Indonesia. Yeah. After this, let's quickly get into editorial, guys. Yeah. Now, a wonderful article, guys, where you see, whenever we have an issue, it is not only governments, media, social media, individuals, everyone has some responsibility. And today, some 30 media houses across the world, not just in India, across the world, everyone have come together to publish this particular article, guys. They all want to tell us one thing, that is, It is our responsibility also, that is media responsibility also, to pressurize the government and tell them that please take care of environment, climate change. They tell it is responsibility of developed countries to give money and support developing countries and others. And the money should also come not only from developed countries, but also windfall tax. Yes, what is windfall tax? For example, I took a land. The land I took was at 1 lakh, and my investment was just 1 lakh. Normally, anywhere after 1 year, that 1 lakh land will become maximum 1.2 or 1.25 lakhs. But all of a sudden, if it becomes 10 lakhs because of some road construction or something, it will become 10 lakhs. 1 lakh became 10 lakhs. That means my profit is 9 lakhs. So, whenever profits become extremely high without change in input cost, then it is called windfall gains. I'll just explain. Now, I have a oil manufacturing company. Normally, I import oil at $100 billion and I will sell it at $110 billion. Now I imported and I kept it. All of a sudden, due to Ukraine war and all, the prices went to $150. Now, whoever already have purchased, whatever they have purchased, it increased from $100 to $150. That means $50 profit by doing nothing. I didn't do anything, but my profit increased. That itself clearly shows that there is some sort of issues that exist. Correct? So, such gains are called as windfall gains. And government will put tax on such profits called as windfall tax. Is this clear? So this windfall tax, if we can collect, we can get some $100 billion every year, it seems. So government should think of this is what it is trying to argue. Fine. So can you write down quickly? I'll tell you certain points. Taking climate change, you write climate change COP27. In that only you write. Taking responsibility, taking responsibility to create awareness. 30 newspapers and media organizations 30 newspapers and media organizations in more than 20 countries have come together have come together and they have tried to create awareness. Next point, they are trying to they are trying to tell the countries tell the countries that all the countries must do to reduce temperatures within 1.5 degrees Celsius of pre-industrial levels. Next, you write countries must move towards renewable energy. Countries must move towards renewable energy, and for this, Developed countries must help them. Developed countries must help them with money and technology. Full stop. Today, developing countries require developing countries require $2 trillion, $2 trillion to cut their greenhouse gas emissions. To cut their greenhouse gas emissions. Full stop. Next point. Developed countries, developed countries have committed $100 billion, and along with it, windfall taxes, windfall taxes can benefit. Finally, finally, they argue that it is important for countries to come together. Yes, all these are not important, but this is important. Qatar, third worst World Cup host in terms of human rights. See, guys, human rights means it may be with respect to how you treat your labor, how you treat, how whether you give fundamental rights to the people or not, how you treat women, how you treat LGBT community. All these comes under human rights. And unfortunately, Qatar is very poor when it comes to LGBT, civil liberties, migrant workers, etc. Because of this, the world is pressurizing. Why did we give World Cup hosting rights to Qatar? Is that a country which we should support? Is that a country which we should go for? This is where we tell communities can come together, put pressure on the governments and ensure that human rights is protected. So this is the beauty of what we call as, like, civil society. So whenever they say what is the role of civil society, you can tell the civil society or NGOs can come together and pressurize the governments to address human rights issues, if not through local thing, at least by international community. Yeah. So I guess this can be an ethics topic. Public functionaries should be restrained in speech. Supreme Court judge. What is the meaning of this? Public functionaries means MPs, MLAs, government officers, right? Everyone should stop making derogatory statements against anyone. So that means against religion, Nupur Sharma and all, you might have seen the way they spoke and all. That must not happen. And whenever Supreme Court gives such guidelines, and it will be asked in ethics paper. So just remember that MPs and MLAs do not have their freedom of speech. Doesn't mean they will misuse it and try to create rift in the society. That's what you need to know about it. Third edition of No Money for Terror Forum to discuss crowdfunding of terrorism, NMFT. They can ask you this, guys. Definitely, there can be a question on this. Yeah, what is this, guys? No money for terror. Crowdfunding means what? For example, now I want to set up a company. I will go to Facebook or Instagram and I will tell, I want to set up a company. Can you people please help me out? At that time, at that time, people whoever like my idea may invest in my company and they may tell, fine, we will invest, give us some share. So that, I will set up a company on people's money. That is called crowdfunding. Unfortunately, for terrorism also, crowdfunding is happening. Terrorists are getting money from different sources where they are trying to collect money from different countries and they are transferring it to terror activities. So, India is hosting No Money for Terror Forum this year. And in this, India wants to talk about how social media platforms is used to collect money for terror activities. Fine. So you write down internal security, no money for terror forum. No money for terror forum. Hyphen. Terrorism, terrorism will survive only if they have, only if they have people, people, money, weapons, and training, and training. Full stop. Within this, money plays a very important role, and it must be, and it must be reduced, reduced as much as possible. Full stop. Through no money for terror, no money for terror, different media platforms, different media platforms are coming together, are coming together, and they are working for different media platforms are coming together and they are working to reduce terror funding. But still, but still, with the help of technology, like crowdfunding, like crowdfunding, terrorists are trying to terrorists are trying to utilize and get money, utilize the platform and get money. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in one country, and it is transnational crime. and it is transnational crime. Full stop. There is no global norms. There is no global norms to prevent it. To prevent it. Yeah. This transnational crime means the crime which is not only in one country, the crime is occurring due to people in multiple countries. They are called as transnational. Yeah. Yes, all are politics, but this is very important. Population growth is stabilizing in India. Yes. What is the meaning of stabilizing? That means there is no extreme death rates and birth rates. The meaning of this is the number of people who are dying and the number of people who are taking birth are almost same. Second important thing, if you see today, you will have old people, youth people, children. Correct? There will be some percentage of old, youth, and children. And over a period of time, if you say, let's say another 100 years, if I take and check, there will be same number of old, youth, and children. That means there won't be zero or positive. The meaning of this I'll tell you. Today, let me say, in India, there are three birth rates and two death rates. That means one child is increasing. And let me say there are one birth and two deaths. Then deaths are more than births. So the first case is positive. That means the number is increasing. The second case is negative. That means the number is decreasing. This is what we need to focus in this particular aspect case. And all these are happening because the total fertility rate of India is approximately 2.2 to 2. Total fertility rate is approximately 2.2 to 2. So whenever total fertility rate is 2.2 to 2, it indicates that population stability has reached. Fine. So this is very, very important. Hmm? You write below, today in India, population growth is stabilizing, where the total fertility rate has declined from 2.2 to 2, which indicates that birth rate and death rates are almost same. Yeah, guys. Exotic primates, Burmese areca nuts, drugs, cigarettes seized in Assam. Recently, only Home Minister was telling incentive will be provided if you catch these drug cartels and all. See, guys, beside Northeast India, you have Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. In these three places, actually, there is huge amount of drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all types of criminal activities, guys. Which are the three? Myanmar, Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. These three together are called as golden triangle. And here we will have opium, produced drugs, women smuggling, children smuggling or children trafficking, species, guns, etc. And Myanmar is closer to India and that to Northeast India. And Northeast India is severely affected. Within that, now we are seeing Assam is also severely affected. So we have been able to track down certain exotic means which are present only in certain areas. And unfortunately, guys, in small boxes, they were carrying these animals. I don't know what they'll do with it, but these are all extremely dangerous things that happens. Fine. So all these are being caught. And guys, this money can be used for terrorism again, which is a grave concern. Fine. Yes. Yeah. So guys, nothing much in international relations. Yeah. Yes, I was telling you that whenever there has to be trade between India and Russia in rupee, then I told you that in our bank they should open bank accounts, and in their bank we should open bank accounts, and we should start exchanging the money. Now Russia is the first country to open bank balance in our places, so that India will open in theirs, and over a period of time rupee can be used. But it's a long procedure, guys. But Russia is the first country to have come forward. This is what we are trying to read. Nothing much. Fine. So guys, these are all important issues that we had to cover. Thank you, guys.